When you find out, last week we looked a little bit about if somebody is caught in sin, you are spiritual shore restored in gently for Galatians. And one of the questions that comes up in those kind of settings is, when you hear or are made aware of somebody in a bad place, in a bad situation, whether it's they caused it or whether it just happened to them, is your first thought that your heart drops and you just wish they didn't have to be where they are and go through what they're going through? Or is your first thought maybe they get what they deserve, or that'll teach them? And I hear that a lot when I'm meeting people that are going through difficult times. Also, something that we want to be careful with is somebody says that they're going through a hard time, and we might say to them, you just need to trust the Lord. I don't disagree with that at all. But sometimes people aren't in a place where they're able to do that, or a place where they don't know how to do that. I've had more than a few people say to me, John, people are telling me to trust the Lord. Nobody's showing me how. I don't know how. Or we throw out Romans 8:28 that all things work for good. Now, yes, we understand that God is working in ways that we don't always understand. But there's a time and a place to say something, to do something, and a time and a place not to say something, not to do something.
Amen.
A series of events, seemingly small at the time possibly, or maybe not even small, maybe larger, but they don't disrupt life terribly, but they stick with us. And then another event comes, and then suddenly we have 6 sort of micro events or smaller events that are weighing heavy on us. And people around us would ask us, why are we so distraught? What's wrong? Why are we so upset? The Lord will take care of it. Again, do not disagree with that, but the way we characterize that and share that with others needs to be carefully watched and monitored. So we're going to look at 1 Samuel. The verses are going to be up here on the screen. 1 Samuel chapter 1, verses 1 through 8. Again, thinking about Hannah, particularly today. There was a man from Ramathaim-Zophim, from the hill country of Ephraim. His name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zoph, an Ephraimite. He had 2 wives. The name of one was Hannah, but Hannah had no children. Sorry, the other one was Peninnah. Peninnah had children, Hannah had no children. Verse 3. Now this man would go up from his city yearly to worship and to sacrifice to the Lord of armies in Shiloh. The 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, were priests to the Lord there. When the day came that Elkanah sacrificed, he would give portions to his wife Peninnah and to all her sons and daughters. But to Hannah he would give a double portion, because he loved Hannah, but the Lord had closed her womb. He was being extra kind, extra gracious to the one who had less, the one who was hurting. Her rival, moreover, would provoke her bitterly to irritate her, because the Lord had closed her womb. And it happened year after year, as often as she went up to the house of the Lord, that she would provoke her. So she wept, Hannah, and would not eat. Then Elkanah, her husband, would say to her, Hannah, why do you weep? Why do you not eat? Why is your heart sad? Am I not better to you than 10 sons? Elkanah really didn't have any kind of decor in there. He was kind in giving a double portion, but emotionally, he just wasn't getting it. And so I'm going to share this video. It's something a little different today. Just bear with me. The pastor of my home church preached out of this section of the scriptures about 2 years ago. And my wife and I went to him later in a good way, but she said how much it really impacted her because of her Hannah's story was much like hers. He asked her if he could record her, and then he showed it to our home church a few weeks later. And I just want to share this with you. It's only about 10 minutes. So we're going to watch this video and then look at a little bit more about the life of Hannah.
I identified with Hannah because of what she was going through. I remember, even though it was 40 plus years ago, the agony of every month being disappointed that a child wasn't conceived. And people don't understand, or at least the people around me at the time didn't understand what I was really going through. My whole purpose in life, I was in my 20s, it was in the 70s. My whole purpose in life was to be a mother. And when that doesn't happen, you don't know what to do about yourself. You feel like a failure. You feel like, why me? Now, in those days, I was not a Christian. I went to church, but I didn't follow the Lord. So I didn't have any support. And I don't get that sense that in the beginning that Hannah had any support. Pastor Dave said that on the first part of his message, the first week, her husband said to her, "Why are you so upset?" I used to hear that every month. Why are you so upset? What's the problem? And then even the comment, "You have me," I heard that. And then I would hear from people around that didn't know us very well, because I'm never one to talk about my personal life, but they would say, "When are you going to start having a family?" And it would stab me every time. It's not like we weren't trying. We tried for close to 9 years, and the stress that it put on my marriage ultimately broke my marriage, because there wasn't any compassion in it. It was, "I don't understand why you're so upset." So my reference to Hannah is, I know what she was going through. I know the pain she was feeling. For some reason, as you get older, you start thinking about your youth more. And I was focusing way too much on my youth and what I went through. And it was making me second guess my decisions back then about, well, maybe it wasn't so bad. Maybe I should have stuck it out with my husband. But it didn't help. It didn't go anywhere. So I've been talking to the Lord about helping me to look forward, not back. I have a wonderful husband now who loves me, and I love him, and we have a great marriage. We don't have children. That was a decision he asked me about before we got married, and I told him I wasn't able to have children. And so our marriage has been a marriage of understanding each other, unlike my prior marriage. But then, 7 years into our marriage, we became Christians. And that made all the difference in the world as to how I handled the hurt that was still there. And even as a woman who's well past the age of conception, now it's grandchildren and great grandchildren, and the hurt and the pain is still there. What I related to most in Pastor Dave's message was the fact that you never know what somebody's going through, no matter how old they are. Or, you might think, "Oh, you're so lucky you didn't have children, you had this free life." Well, unless you're there, you don't want the free life. You want the children. You want to be a nurturer, because that's how God made you. So I'm trying to just keep forward looking and love the people that are around me and love the children that are around me. But I need to keep looking forward to doing God's work and not worrying about what I don't have. Yeah, you go through struggles in life and it's how you handle them, and the Lord knows that you don't always handle them the best, but the people around you are the ones that lift you up and encourage you. And that's what John and I try to do, but we have such a close-knit group around us right now that we're always lifting each other up when need be. John and I aren't always doing all the ministry. We have friends who minister to us too. Kind of brings that lost element into our lives that we don't have. He calls us Mama Peg and Papa John because her family's not here in the area. So we've kind of adopted them, and that brings me joy. That brings John joy. Yes. So God provides even at our older ages that, she's not biological, but I love her like a daughter, and I love Roland like a grandson. That I always told my sister I would take care of. But there's different ways you can take care of somebody.
Right.
And I'm learning that at this age. I keep close tabs on him, and he loves coming to church, so that's something we do every week together, no matter where we end up going. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You were talking about it in both messages. I guess it's about understanding what people are going through. You don't know why somebody's the way they are.
Right.
And I have a tendency to be very straightforward and very clinical about things. And John's been helping me understand that just like nobody knows what I go through about not having children, I don't know what they're going through at the moment. And they might be saying things that turn you off.
Right.
But if you kind of just love on them and show compassion, maybe you'll find out what they're going through. And we've had people come to us and we thought they were doing great.
Yeah.
We've known them for years. They're doing great. And they come and they say, we're really in a pickle. We're thinking about getting divorced. And, it's because they stepped away. They stepped away from fellowship. They stepped away from their church. But I'm being more conscious about it. I'm really trying to be more compassionate towards. You just want the best for them, especially the people you love. Somebody that you can tell anything to and it's not going to get past that person.
Okay.
That's a safe person.
Okay.
I have safe people in my life. It's paramount to being able to be in fellowship with people. God made us to be in fellowship. And if you can't trust the person that you're in fellowship with, it's not a close connection.
Yeah.
I tell them, of course you tell the person that doesn't know the Lord that the Lord would help with that. But the people that do know the Lord, from an experience I've had not too long ago, I struggled and I didn't want the Lord's help because I decided that, well, if I'm struggling this much, where are you? What are you doing? And I knew it was wrong, and I still wanted to do it myself, but it wasn't until I came back to the Lord and repented and really told him how sorry I was. That's the only time I got peace back.
Okay.
You're not going to get peace in your struggles if you're not taking it to the Lord.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. I think that's good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So before we ask somebody, why are you so upset? Maybe we need to consider what they're going through. As my wife mentioned, being a safe person to sit with them and talk. I've mentioned here before on the Wednesday nights, being an active listener. Being the hands and feet of Jesus. Or we talk about being the hands and feet of Jesus, but we also need to be the ears and the mouth of Jesus. It isn't just what we do and where we go. It's what we do with what we take in that we hear from others.